don't wanna fall back down, so I already touched the ground. So please hear me. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't really know what's on, 'cause I'm a restless. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't know where to go, yeah, my whole soul. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't really know what's on, 'cause I'm a restless soul. Oh, here we go, and it's overflow. I don't know where to go, yeah, my homeless soul.
You get to acting like a hot.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is 11 a.m. in the Central Standard Time Zone. I am here for what we are calling office hours. Just a live stream that I thought I'd put together to answer some questions that I get lot of questions come in from time to time, over and over from people that follow me on social media or know me on Facebook, or just kind of, I don't know, just know me about the ripple effect, the book, the whole 9 yards. And so I thought I would just put together a little office hours, although it's only an hour. Yeah, maybe I'll do it again so that it will be truly office hours. But anyway, I just thought I would kind of, tune in and just kind of check out. I don't think we need that any longer. So I'm controlling my own production studio today by myself. And so we'll see how this goes. I'm not really sure if I'm going to do this right or not, but should be streaming out to Facebook and YouTube. If you're joining, I see a few people on both platforms. So thanks for joining. If you're going to see this on the replay, thanks for coming and tuning into this. I hope that some of the questions and the answers that I provide will be an advantage to you in some capacity, be of value. And so thanks for watching live and or on the replay, depending on where you're coming from. So anyway, so super excited to do this. I have a number of questions that came in overnight, which I was kind of surprised about on my email and Twitter. And so if you have questions, feel free, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, feel free to post those in there. I don't know what I'm using StreamYard, so I'm hopeful that my questions are going to come in here. We shall see if they do. And hopefully if we don't see them, or you're like, hey, look, dude, I've asked this question, and you never got back to me, it's not intentional. And there is one other way that you can send me those questions, and those questions can come in through where is the banner for that? We might have gotten rid of it. Oh yeah, you can text me these questions. 577-3700. Please don't put me on any call list or anything crazy like that. That would not be cool to do that. But, feel free to text me questions if you don't see them pop up here. I'm going to do my best. So I got a couple of questions to kick off. Totally informal here in terms of what I'm doing and how I'm going to conduct this office hour. And again, maybe we'll do another office hours down the road. But let's just jump into the questions that I've got overnight from a few of you. So Chris A asked me, how have you kept so positive during the pandemic? That is a great question. That is a really good question. I got to be honest with you, Chris. First of all, thanks for asking the question. I would tell you that I haven't, oh God, man, I look like a dork with those things on. Sorry about that. I would tell you that I actually haven't been 100% positive. I know I try and put something positive out on social media every day, virtually. But the pandemic was a bit scary. It caught a lot of us off guard. A lot of us were super unprepared for the realities of the dynamic shift that we've all gone through and still going through. And I've tried to maintain a positive front, but I went through about a period of maybe 3 weeks, probably 2.5, 3 weeks, where I was just downright depressed. I was concerned about my businesses. I was concerned about where the markets were headed. I was concerned about people losing their jobs. For those of you that don't know, aside from Ripple, I own 2 other companies. So I'm running 3 companies, all got impacted by what was going on relative to the pandemic. And there was just a lot of uncertainty, still a lot of uncertainty, but we're seeing a lot of, I think, positive signs of recovery. And I think I went through this kind of depressive period on myself, even though I wasn't maybe putting it out there for everybody's consumption. But I was worried, just as everybody is. I was concerned not only for my family's health. My dad lives out of state, and was worried about him and his need to take it serious at the time, and that was a bit of a concern. So I did go through some of the same concerns that I think a lot of people did. But at the end of the day, our other choice is to wallow in it or do something about it. And so my commitment has always been, and my focus has always been, trying to be a positive guiding light for the people that are out there in the world, and just try and provide some value, when and where I can. And that's exactly what I was trying to do relative to making sure that, I just maintained a brave face, not only for people out on social media, but also for my team that was working for me. Let them know that we were going to get through this together, and we were going to show up every day and do the work that we can with the parameters that have been set. And I actually think by refocusing my energy, by realizing that I needed to be my own personal cheerleader and I needed to be a good positive leader for the people that were working for me, that helped me sort of pull out of this little tailspin I was in personally and focus on what's important, which is showing up, being the best possible person that I can every single day in whatever capacity that might be, and not let that stuff, kind of dictate how I was going to respond and react. And so I appreciate that question. Positivity is one of those funny, elusive creatures that sometimes you don't always can't always grab by the tail and hold on to. But it is important when you can look at the bigger picture and try and find something that you put your energies towards. It's surprising how quickly that positivity, that negativity turned into positivity. So thank you for that question, Chris. I had, I think I know who this guy is, even though he didn't put a last name. Hey, since you call yourself the no pants entrepreneur, are you wearing pants today? That's a really personal question on a live stream, Greg. But yes, I always wear pants. I call it the no pants entrepreneur because I have built my businesses into what I like to consider lifestyle businesses. If I have to go speak at a conference or you're bringing me into your company to train, I'm of course going to wear appropriate clothes and always show up and look the best I can. I mean, I've got this to deal with. So there's that, right? There's already that drawback. But when I work day to day, I want to be comfortable and I move around a lot. I burn a lot of calories just when I'm on the phone and, interacting with my team, and I walk from one side of the office to the other. And I like to be comfortable, even when right now we are in Austin, Texas. It's supposed to be 107 degrees today. I don't know why or when I moved to Phoenix via Miami, because we have extreme heat and then we have this ridiculous humidity on the other side, all combined. I like to tell people I live in Austin is like the pimple on the ass of hell. It's so freaking hot right now. It's crazy. But I like to be comfortable and I like to, feel, like I don't have those stressors. I mean, I wore a suit for a long time and I wore pants every day for a long time. So I like to wear shorts. I like to wear flip-flops. I like to be casual. I like to wear a t-shirt. I know probably some people will beat me up because I'm wearing a t-shirt for this thing, but hey, this is just who I am and what I'm about. But I am wearing pants. I don't want people thinking when I put that hashtag out that I'm walking around the office in my underwear. I have never done that. I would never do that. Believe it or not, I know a CEO that does do that. Creeps me out, freaks me out. So maybe I should say no pants entrepreneur with the little, whatever, little thing that comes back and says, parentheses that says, but wearing shorts. I don't know. But yes, thanks, Greg, for that question. I'm definitely wearing pants. If you happen to be on the live stream and you are interested in asking a question, feel free to hopefully pop that into Facebook, and I should see that. And if you are on YouTube, I think those should be feeding to my stream send as well. So any questions you have about business, any questions that you have about networking, connecting, rippling, I know we've got a number of questions that people have submitted in advance of today. So I really appreciate you doing that. But I am going to try and pay attention to the live questions as they come in as well. I'm hopeful I have this thing set up. I normally do these live streams with my good friend Asha Prasad. We have a podcast. In fact, we're doing a live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Our podcast is called Conversations with Asha and Steve. She is amazing. I'm like her sidekick. I'm like Sideshow Bob for her, really. But when she and I are on this together, we can both watch these comments as they kind of come in. And for whatever reason, this thing seems like it's kind of working weird this morning. So I don't know if it's working or I don't know. So I may not see live comments. If I don't and they end up in the stream, I will come back and answer those questions. But like I said, you can also text those questions to me, and I should have my cell turned on, 512-577-3700 if you've got questions. Even if you have questions after today's office hours, I'm happy to I'm happy to work with you. So yeah. Oh yeah, StreamYard. It seems to be working. I don't know. We shall see. So anyway, it's the I would say it was the beautiful thing of live TV, but this isn't live TV. It's not. It's online. Don't even know what the deal is. Um, Again, today goal, ask whatever you want to ask. Feel free to do that, and I'm happy to answer those as they come up. So I'm going to pull another question out of the group that we had received last night. I have a lot of teachers that follow me on social media. I'm really grateful for having the opportunity to sort of leverage the ripple concept for those that are in the classroom. And I thought this was an incredibly powerful question, because teachers, God love you, every single one of you that's out there doing what you're doing, having to deal with the environments that you're dealing with. I appreciate everything that you're doing. I consider you guys heroes. I say it a lot on social media because you are. I mean, you are guiding and directing the future of our country with these young people, and that should never be ever underestimated. And now we've coupled this situation with the COVID crisis, and we've put that pressure on you. And I know some districts are requiring teachers to come back into the classrooms to teach with students there, and others that have been forced to make alterations to their teaching plans, at least for the foreseeable future, to teach virtually. So this question, and I apologize, I hope I say this right, Mrs. Mullen, I believe, is the one that submitted the question: what can teachers do to better connect with their students since we can't see them in class? I recognize, and I speak to a lot of different organizations that are involved in education, whether it be at the elementary, middle school, or high school levels, as well as higher education. And it cannot be understated how much that interaction with the student is necessary to improve and really enhance their experience, right, in that class, whatever it might be. And seeing those kids come into the classroom every day, acknowledging them by name, letting them know you see them, I think is so key. And one of the things that came up last year when I was doing a session for teachers was how often teachers are defaulting back to kind of posting, during the day from their classrooms. They're on their phones as classes are switching back and forth, and you're missing those just amazing opportunities to interact with those students. And now with the COVID situation, you're basically stuck in a situation where you're actually having to communicate through a camera like I am here, and how challenging that can be. And I've got to tell you that I recognize and understand how difficult that piece can be for you. But here's the thing: even in a virtual environment, no matter how that situation sort of plays out in your individual classroom, you may see kids on Zoom, you may see them in Google Classroom or Teams or whatever platform your district may have deployed, yeah, whatever they're using for this upcoming next little bit. I think it's even more important that you put that emphasis on the student, that you put all that time and energy towards getting to find some mechanism to connect with them, because they don't have you in the physical world yet. You're just a talking head in the screen. It's even more important that you find some way to connect with those kids, find what they're really into, engage them in activities that allow you to learn about them as individuals, what's important to them, what they would like to, what they hope, what their hopes are, maybe even understanding and exploring some of their fears as it relates to the pandemic. But it can never be understated. And I tell people that are in even the professional world that are doing virtual trainings, that individual connection, like just calling Mrs. Mullen out and saying, thank you for that question, that is a really good question. There is that instant connection to that individual that basically lets them know, hey, I see you, I recognize you. I may not be able to give you a hug. I may not be able to pat you on your head as you come into class. I may not be able to wink at you or smile at you in the same way that I might in the classroom, but I'm still here. And the reason I'm here is for you. And that message, I think, is absolutely critical to get across to every one of those kids that you want to connect with. So Mrs. Mullen, I know it's a challenge. I know the online environment is not the most ideal, but we've got to deal with what we've got to deal with. And at the end of the day, the easiest thing to do is make sure that you're putting all your emphasis you can to connect with that kid at whatever level you can, but to recognize and see them. And maybe that is through whatever means that you possibly can to learn about them, and then being able to highlight a kid or two or 3 or 10 every single day. Hey, this is what I learned about Joey. This is what I learned about Sally. I didn't know that you were really into, baseball trading cards. I understand we have a great soccer player amongst our class. That recognition and just shining that spotlight on that individual when you do it in a virtual classroom environment, it's hard not to feel appreciated. And it'll just make that relationship that you're establishing with that student stronger. And it'll make it even better when we return to the classroom, I think. So I hope that's helpful. Ms. Mullen, if you follow me on Twitter, which by the way, if any of you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at RippleOn. You can certainly DM me if you didn't feel like that was a good answer to your question or you want to dive in a little bit more. Totally cool with that. I would be happy to it, along with any of the teachers that might be on right now that are maybe following me. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to learn about your situations, maybe some of the fears or concerns that you have going back to the classroom or teaching through Zoom or Google Classroom or whatever the case might be, and how to connect with those students. Any of you that want to reach out, feel free to do so. I'd be happy to talk with you. So let's see. Next question is from Tommy in Seattle. Tommy, I love Seattle. Went to Seattle 3 years ago now. It was unusually hot there. We went to Seattle to escape the heat, and unfortunately, you welcomed us with a historic heat wave. That was not cool. But I loved Seattle, Space Needle, all of that. And I don't believe we've ever communicated or talked because I don't know that many Tommies. But thank you for your question. How did you come up with the Ripple? Ooh, that's a really, really, really good question. The Ripple is, and I'm just making sure I'm trying to keep track of all these other comments that are coming in. So thank you for those, by the way. Tommy, great question. Really, and I've got to give credit where credit is due. I was good friends with a guy named Mark Schwartz. Mark was helping me. I'd sold a company in 2004, and Mark was helping me create a book that originally was intended for salespeople, designed to help them be better at their jobs, or if you were coming into a sales profession, be a better salesperson. And the original goal was to be able to teach people not to be that salesy person. My success in my business career as an entrepreneur, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 22, has always been around connecting with the people that I might want to do business with, but really, ideally, learning what I can about them and figuring out ways that I can add value and benefit to them, even if it wasn't directly tied to the product or service that I was, I was pitching at that time. And what was really interesting about that situation was, as we were kind of teasing out the content, and Mark asked me what made me what made me a good entrepreneur, what made me a good business owner, business leader. And I thought about it for a second. I remember the place and the coffee shop we were sitting in. I said, for me, it all came down to none of the stuff I was trying to pitch. It was always about trying to find a way to solve a problem or add value in some capacity. And I said, Mark, it's kind of like the ripple, right? The ripple effect. You toss that stone in that crystal clear pond, and that ripple ripples out, and then it ripples back. That action that you take makes a huge difference to the people that you come in contact with. And so I found that not only that concept had benefited me in business, but it allowed me to establish and build a really powerful network of amazing people, not even necessarily just people I did business with, but just this massive cadre of very, very, very cool and connected individuals, but always looking for and trying to find a mechanism to create value. And he said, that's it. That's what you're all about. That's what your concept is. I've been trying to figure out how to put that, kind of that statement or that brand around. He's like, dude, you're the Ripple guy. You're the Ripple man. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I am. And so from there, it grew. I mean, my first book came out in 2005. Second edition came out, I think, 2010. We're working on the third edition of The Ripple Effect with new updated content, including a special chapter on COVID and this virtual connecting thing. But yeah, that's how it all started. And from there, it sprung into not just being an author, but I was a speaker. I was a trainer. I've got training programs and different ways that I present the concept of Ripple because I see the application no matter where you are in your life, personally or professionally, how it can benefit you. And it's given me a lot of opportunity to speak to a lot of corporations and get this Ripple philosophy out there. So thank you so much for that question. I really, really appreciate it because it's kind of a fun one to kind of go back. I mean, gosh, literally this year, September, believe it or not, will be 15 years doing the Ripple thing. It's led me to so many different opportunities and different avenues for myself. But I'd like to think along the way that we've made a huge difference and improved a lot of people's lives thanks to the concept and the approach. So thank you for asking that question. So next question is from Christina. I saw you speak at Microsoft years ago. There you go. I saw you speak at Microsoft years ago. Your words still stick with me. I just wanted you to know you made a difference. Thank you, Christina. That is all right, all right, all right. To take the eternal words of Matthew McConaughey. Thank you so much for that. Gosh, that was a long time ago. One of my favorite trips, actually, to the Pacific Northwest. It wasn't the same trip that I just mentioned for Greg. No, it wasn't Greg who was in Washington State. Tommy. And so I wonder if Tommy, were you at the Microsoft training? I'm just curious. Hit me back. Let me know. But Christina, thank you so much for that. That was a great experience, a great trip. Funny story. I was not Microsoft's original pick as the speaker for this. It was a professional development day. They had actually as part of a professional development week. And it was Peekaboo Street and some guy that I couldn't tell you who it was, some Hollywood actor that was on there. And Peekaboo Street had some sort of conflict. The Hollywood actor wanted too much money, and then there was me. And so Microsoft's like, well, hey, you're better than nothing, right? Chop liver. So they brought me out. I had to travel with the biggest order of books that I've ever could have possibly ever thought to get to from one location to another, which was kind of cool. Had this big book signing situation and whatnot. And then I was presenting to some of the major leaders at Microsoft for this session. And that session, Christina, if you'll recall, we did a rap, and I'm not a rapper, just gonna say, but we did this really kind of cool thing. And I remember the lady that was with Microsoft. She came up to me before and she's like, hey, look, these are really senior level people. They see people all the time. I didn't vet your content all that much, but I hope you don't suck. I'm like, yeah. So she's like, you need to get them, like, you need to hook them. These are Microsoft executives. They're very, very important and critical to our business operation. And they've already been in this training and, you need to bring it. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, totally understand, totally get it. And she's like, so, can I see a preview of your slide deck and all this craziness and kind of show her? And she's like, what is this? And I tell her about this rap we were going to do. And it was part of the lesson, part of what I was training on to be part of my message. I said, but yeah, we're going to like break the room into 3 different sections. It's going to be awesome. She just looked at me like, yeah. So my boss is going to be here. If this sucks, I'm going to kill you. And so it was a little bit intimidating. I've never had anybody threaten my life prior to a speaking event, but I think I was going to bring my A game before, but it allowed me to bring my true A game, A plus game to that. And it went phenomenal. And so this message means a lot to me because there's so many different people I got to see that day. And I've talked to a few over the years. That particular business leader went on to another corporation that ended up hiring me for other work. So I know I pleased her with no doubt. But that was a great, great experience to actually bring that concept into a company like Microsoft that is pretty good on building relationships and really focused on trying to develop different avenues and particular approaches to, enhancing their personal and professional development programs. And I was just super proud to be a part of that. But we got such a great, great review. And I remember going back out with, actually her and her executive team that night for a really phenomenal dinner. And man, it was just a neat experience. But to know that they did not really expect that to be, or for her to not think that that was going to be a good thing, I think she was she was pleasantly surprised. I felt like I delivered in a big way. So, hey, my co-host Asha Prasad. Thank you, Asha, for joining me today. I was trying to get a hold of you earlier because I wanted to see and make sure you could hear me. But a big shout out to Mark Schwartz. He's awesome. Oh, and you had a question. Given the current situation, will you be conducting more virtual Ripple events? Thank you for that. Just a quick reminder, Conversations with Asha and Steve will be on Facebook Live tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I am technically her co-host, but really everybody shows up to see Dr. Asha Prasad. She's a rock star. I am like basically her sideshow Bob. And that's what I am. I'm comic relief is what I am. But Asha, thanks for participating today. I didn't expect that. That's cool. Yes, my plan is the virtual Ripple events. Let me explain what those are. The virtual Ripple events are actually a function of what I call an 8-minute Ripple. So when I first brought out my book, it's funny, the book actually gets kind of pigeonholed as a book for networking people. And it's not really that. It's actually completely different than what you might read in traditional business networking books. Strategy is it's not about how to quickly and efficiently get somebody's business card from them or how to tell a more effective 30-second elevator pitch. It's a completely different concept. And when we brought out the book, I wanted to do something different. And so originally we're like, hey, we should do an event, but not like a book launch party or just like a happy hour thing. Let's do something with purpose. And so I came up with this concept of the 8-minute Ripple, which was to have an event for networking for non-networking individuals. Like to show up and have access to this event, you could not bring a business card. You could not use or retort your 30-second elevator pitch. Retort, one of my favorite lines from Samuel L. Jackson in, oh God, what is that one? I forgot the movie with John Travolta, whatever it is. It's awesome. Pulp Fiction. Thank you. Yeah. And so allow me to retort. You couldn't retort your 30-second elevator pitch. You had to come legitimately have a conversation. And we created these questions that really give people a perspective to engage. They're fun questions to ask, but they're also fun questions to answer. And so they're very insightful. And you're looking for what I call a connection point, something that makes that person stand out and is different and unique to you. It's not necessarily their name. It's not their job title or what they do, because we said, hey, don't do that. It allows two individuals to really connect at a much more meaningful level. So we've done 8-minute Ripples live and in person for a lot of years. I've done them for conferences, did my largest audience was over, 15,000 people at one point. That was at a security conference. It was such a awesome thing to see all these technical, not normally good networking kind of people all totally just dig this process, because we take all the intimidation, all that pomp and circumstance off the table, right? We just allow you to show up and be yourself. And it was cool. But I do these events because it really gets people engaging at a much more comfortable level, and you learn things about each other. So we've done them for companies with people that work together for years. They learn and discover things that they never would have in the course of their normal business day ever discover. So it's a lot of fun. And we've done a couple of 8-minute Ripples for some leadership groups during this COVID crisis. And so I do plan to do a public one via Zoom very soon. And we've been doing some for a group called my Kick-Ass Women Ripplers, and they are just loving it. I think a few of you ladies are on today. We'll be doing another one for you guys very soon. But yeah, we'll do a public one, Asha, very soon, maybe with your encouragement and kicking me in the hindquarters. I'll do it a little bit sooner. So anyway, thanks for asking that question. I apologize for the length of that story, but you got to know what the concept is. If you want to check out the 8-minute Ripple and see a couple of cool videos and learn a little bit more about it, you can check it out at ripplecentral.com. Look for the 8-minute Ripple. But they're a lot of fun, and they're super, super exciting to participate in because they're just fun. They're just a unique experience. You'll definitely get a you'll get some value out of it without question. So let me go back to my questions here. I just saw a question from Christina. Well, actually, just another comment from Christina, but it's private. She said that she definitely wants to participate, and she'll have her team at Microsoft join us. All right, cool. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And again, thank you for that. I would love to connect with you after this, and just hear exactly how you are implementing the Ripple philosophy in your life, and for the team that you lead. I'm just always curious about how people take what they learn from the concept or from my book or from a training and apply it. So here's one from Tina. I think I might know this, Tina. I'm thrilled you're doing this. So here's my question from your perspective. How do you see the back half of 2020 shaping up? Ooh. It's a really good question, Tina. That is and it's a loaded question because I think it depends on your perspective. I think that I'm not getting political because we have an election coming up. I stay away from politics. I also want to stay away from most of this whole health situation debate because it doesn't matter where you fall on that. You're going to have half the people hate on you because of what your opinion is. But as a business, I pay attention to, business markets, and I pay attention to the economy really closely. I'm obviously paying attention to what's happening with my different businesses. For most of the companies that we had stuff contracted with for this coming year, a lot of that business is shifting or changing and evolving pretty drastically because people aren't going to conferences, events aren't being held. In-person trainings are having to shift to an online structure. Budgets have been cut back because companies are trying to figure out how to reserve cash. And there's just a very wide dynamic. But I'm also seeing very positive signs of recovery. Like my software companies, we had a kind of maybe a 3-4 week period, which actually sort of coincided with that first question I started with, was because why am I, was I a little bit depressed at the beginning of the pandemic and how I pulled myself out. We started to see around that same time frame when I kind of pulled myself back out of that little tailspin. Things started to change. People got a little bit, okay, these are the cards we've been dealt. This is how we're going to have to work going forward. And I recognize a lot of people are not as fortunate as me to be able to say that their businesses are positive and moving in the right direction and continuing to be successful despite the economic conditions. But I'm truly grateful that I'm one of the lucky ones. But I do see signs of recovery. I think the job reports are trending the right way. I think if you're in the food services business, you're in the hospitality business, you're obviously in the conference or event planning business, those things are really tough right now and really challenged. But I think some of the larger market indicators are that we're moving in a positive direction as best as we could. Now, will it be back exactly the way it was? No, obviously not. I think until we actually have some sort of cure, this virus goes away, we kill it with a vaccine, it just up and disappears. We're going to have to adapt pretty dramatically. But I'm moving forward now, being in August of 2020 and us dealing with this for the last several months. I'm trying to maintain a positive outcome and focus and try to, outlook, not outcome, trying to do everything I can to continue to add value when and where I can to every level and just adapting. So for my Ripple business, I've got clients that have said, okay, well, we still need to invest in our employees. The ones that are here need to know that we're behind them, that we're still focused on, the priorities, and we're doing our best to deliver our number or, whatever, their situation might be. So they're starting to come back and say, look, we know we can't have you in, and we won't have a group of people in probably until next year. So how could we adapt your training to fit that requirement? Right? Continue to invest in our employees, which I think is fantastic. For a lot of our more of our software and corporate clients, we're just changing how we're interacting with them. And we're making sure that, and if you're a business leader or owner, I think this is true for anybody that might be running into this situation, you need to be checking in more regularly with your customers. You need to be having those conversations and improving, any areas of your business that you can while you've got the time to do it, and then making sure that you're staying consistent in terms of communicating out to your customer base, focusing your energies on whatever you can to get to let them know you're there, right, and to let them know that you're concerned about them, and you have a vested interest in that relationship so that you can keep it going. I think that I think that's the best we can be doing. And I think, yeah, as we do those things, it allows us as individuals, whether we're employees or business leaders, it doesn't matter, to feel like we have a little bit more control than we might just waiting, right? Just waiting for things to drop and to happen. I think that part is that's hard and it's frustrating for a lot of people. And I don't want to downplay that in any way, shape, or form, but you've got to take control of something. So whatever that is that you have that you can take control of, take that control, leverage it, and work your ass off. Right now is the time to do it. And I've said it in a prior podcast. I know Dr. Asha and I've talked about it in our other podcast conversations with Asha and Steve. Now's the time to start, getting better at a skill level. This whole setup, what I'm doing today, this is all crap I wasn't doing before COVID because I didn't understand it. It kind of intimidated and scared me. But now I've learned about it. I've figured out how to try and make, this work because this is how I communicate. This is how we're going to communicate for the foreseeable future. And I think if you're going to make it a solid back half for yourself as an individual, then you need to, go learn a new skill, find your side hustle, pick up a hobby, do something to distract you from all the other BS craziness that's going on out there. And God knows there's a ton of it. Find a way, find a mechanism to keep yourself focused and committed so that we can deliver you can and I can to deliver the best possible finish to this year that we can. And maybe that's getting better physically, getting yourself in shape. Maybe that's, like I said, picking up a hobby that you've been, putting off. Maybe it's reading more, putting more good things in, getting off social media, doing what you can to control the narrative, because 2020 could be complete shit for everybody if we allow that to be the narrative. But there have been some serious positives that have come out of this. I mean, being stuck with our families and our homes for as long as we have is probably not always the most ideal, but look how much more quality time some of us have. Look how much more emphasis that we're able to place on how desperately we want hugs and we want, to be able to be in the physical presence of our friends, our family. And so I think out of this, we can utilize this time to find a level of appreciation to come out of this a little bit better so that we know how to conduct ourselves going forward in life elsewhere and maybe learn from maybe some of our mistakes of the past and improve upon some areas in our life that we needed this wake-up call to happen for. So I don't know if that was a really long-winded answer to that. I apologize. I talk too much, obviously, but thanks for asking the question, Tina, for sure. Next question was submitted by Sam Anderson. You are so positive. Were you always positive? Sam Anderson, Philadelphia, PA brother. You're a Philadelphia, PA brother. Okay. Go Eagles. Well, I'm going to share with you an area that I'm not positive on, and I'm not positive about the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate them. Dallas Cowboys are the greatest football team ever, ever, ever to play football. And I know without question, Sam, you will probably start unfollowing me immediately. So there you go. I'm not always positive. I was not a positive person growing up. I'm anybody that's seen me speak or has attended an event, I'm the first to admit I'm introverted and shy. This whole thing, doing this, is pushing me out of my comfort zone because I have to. But I learned as a kid that I was not, I never had a lot of self-confidence. I don't know why that was, but I'm the youngest of 4 kids. My next closest sibling is almost 10 years exactly to my junior, or 10 years older than me. And I was left to do a lot of things on my own. I think I had to learn to adapt and adjust. I didn't have always the best home life. Parents were great, a lot of internal family drama and crap to deal with. And so I think that I internalized a lot of things. I never felt I was like quite good enough. And I felt inadequate a lot of my life. And so Sam, I've not always been positive, but what I did recognize especially when I got out on my own and when I started carving my own path in life, that nobody wants to be around somebody that's not positive or at least tolerable. And negative people are not tolerable. People that are depressed, people that are always constantly looking at the bad in the world, always looking for the other shoe to drop. They expect gray clouds. They find that their life is full of gray clouds. And I kind of grew up recognizing that I was the creator of my own fate. And I think a big wake up call to me, and it didn't happen immediately, but I became an entrepreneur at 22. Was super lucky in all of the different ways that things played out for me. But I recognized that I was going to have to be the maker of my own luck. And my luck seemed to be more likely to happen when I was more positive about my outlook on life. Now, you could ask my wife, she would tell you that I'm not always the most positive person, even now. That as she always says, everybody else gets the ripple, man, I get you. and she's true. She's put up with and tolerated so much crap from me because I spend all my waking hours being super positive. And when I'm off the clock, so to speak, I really tend to be off the clock. Not that I'm a horrible person or anything. I don't want you to get the wrong idea, but I do have an on-off switch. And as an introverted, shy person, that off switch, when it's off, it's really off. But to be positive and upbeat and motivational, I recognize that was the cornerstone for turning my life around into a level that really proved out to be beneficial to me personally. And so I appreciate that. I love the fact that, you recognize my positivity, except for me slamming your Philadelphia Eagles, which I wish would just go away and play in the Arena League, because the Dallas Cowboys are awesome. I'm just going to say it. But everything else I'm very positive about, and I try and be, because I need it. It's my fuel. It's my drug of choice. It's how I stay active and engaged. And so no matter how bad a situation might be for a coaching client, or with a situation that may be going down with a client of our software company or whatever, I'm always the first to say, okay, let's look at the positive of this. Let's figure out what we can learn from this situation, and what can we do if it's a negative situation, what can we do to turn it into as good a positive as we possibly can. So there it is, man. You learned probably more than you ever wanted to learn about me. But at the end of the day, positivity is a choice, and you don't always have to be Susie Sunshine or Stevie Sunshine to and pretend that life is just grand. Because right now, let's face it, for a lot of us, life is not grand. There are a lot of things that can keep us down. But when you allow that circumstance to dictate how you conduct yourself with your relationships, as business leaders, or even on social media, it's easy to get sucked into that hole, and you can't get out. It's like one of those sand traps where you just keep grabbing, and eventually you just give up. And I see a lot of people that give up. And so I choose not to do that anymore. So that's my thing. So, well, look, did we get another comment? I don't know. I apologize, guys. I'm only seeing like a few things that are coming through, and I see stuff, but it's hidden on looks like YouTube. I don't know why. I apologize. I'm my own producer today, so I'm trying to keep up with these things. I've seen a couple of things coming in through instant message on Facebook, so I'm going to try and get to this as well. Here's another question I'm going to try and post up here. Some of these that are coming in real time, I can't actually post. These are ones that we got in. And this is apropos, because I know exactly who this is. This happens to be a friend that is also a teacher and hates the Dallas Cowboys. Do you really still think the Dallas Cowboys will win another Super Bowl with that lunatic running the team? Hey, he is the number one most valued football franchise, sports franchise, forget football, sports franchise in the world, Laura, the world. That lunatic has done something to make this make real sense. Hell yeah, I think we're going to win more Super Bowls. I think we will win the next 5. I'm going to tell you right now, every one of you watching, go to Vegas, put the money down. I'm just asking for a small residual 5% commission when you win, and you're able to get the response back, the financial reward back. Remember who gave it to you. But yes, we will win multiple Super Bowls. We're going to make the New England Patriots look like they were just kind of a joke. That's what my belief is. I know many of you are probably like, okay, I'm out of here. The credibility's gone, completely gone. Um, here's, here's another one. I've watched your YouTube videos, very well done, but your studio looks awesome. Hope to see it one day in person. Well, oh, Hook 'em Bob. I'm Bob. Thanks for joining today. I know exactly who you are, so thank you so much. Yep, it's me. So this is kind of cool. I am, again, production value, but for any of you that are watching, if you want to kind of take a look, Bob said he would like to see my studio in person, but look at this. I can actually show you what my studio looks like right now. So it's kind of a smaller room that we have at my office, my company, but this is my studio. So I hate to say this, but eventually we're going to put like real wood back here. This is just more or less a background, but yeah, this is where we make it happen, people. This is where my most creative. I'll put this back down here really quick and switch back to camera. This is where all of my creative energy and excitement comes from. I can come in here and this is where my blog posts come from. This is where my video ideas come from. I find that I've got solid peace and we've got great acoustics, I think, in here. Hopefully this mic is working to the degree that I think it should be. But yeah, Bob, you definitely have to come see this. We have a really cool office. I run 3 companies out of this particular office, but everybody knows when I come here, don't bother me because I'm in creative mode. So it's a lot of fun. It looks like my friend Joe has said he is on Facebook for the comment. He said, "It looks like, man, you got a lot of Star Wars stuff." I do have a lot of Star Wars stuff. It is kind of funny. I actually decided a while ago that I was actually going to make this the way I want to make it. And so let's see if I can actually flip this really quick and just show you again what we're looking at here. So let me show you one more time. So I am a big fan of like comic books, superheroes. These guys, I mean, they bring back a time. And of course, my Star Wars stuff. Why? Because I love it. I love it. Roddy Piper, Hilton, I found him. I got it returned actually. So I knew who ended up having it. My Napoleon Dynamite, who I really think is Secret Captain America. I'll let you in on a little secret. I actually do this because I find you got to have things that really make you feel good and really help you enjoy life. And I enjoy life in this space. And I think back to when I was a kid. I think back to when I was so just my inspiration and my playfulness really was at an all-time high because I was on my own a lot of times. And so I had to come up with my own adventures, my own things to do. And I find that when I come in here and I put and surround myself with stuff that was important to me as a kid, I get back to that time. And that's where my best ideas come from. That's where my best creative, sparks of inspiration come from. And I know it sounds a little crazy. I've had some people are like, you're like one big kid, or that's just not professional. Well, that you do you and I'll do me, and let's see who comes out at the end, right? As long as you're happy with your life and I'm happy with my life, don't put me down for what I do. And for me, it's all about trying to surround myself with stuff that inspires me and motivates me. Superheroes have a obvious reason for motivating you, right? Go out, do good, fight the bad guys, fight the good fight, and make positive things happen in the world. The Star Wars stuff, I'm just a huge Star Wars nerd, but I've got I just have stuff that makes me feel good and I enjoy it. Things that I've collected along the way that just I enjoy the process, and it's fun and enjoyable for me, which then allows me to relax, allows me to settle into my own little world, and that's where the ideas percolate. So let me look here. Valerie asked me on Facebook. I don't know why these comments are not showing up. Otherwise, I'd post this, Valerie. How do I handle all the stress associated with 3 companies? Great question. I don't really consider it stress. I do have a lot of stress occasionally. There are ebbs and flows, but I have done something for the last several years that has made a huge difference. Dr. Asha Prasad, who's still on the stream, thank you for being here, Dr. Asha. You're going to see us both tomorrow. I'll wear a better shirt tomorrow, I promise, for our live stream. But Dr. Asha turned me on to meditation many years ago, and many years ago, I I I wasn't good at it. Let's just be honest with you. I was really really not good at it, and I was like, this is dumb. Why would I do this? Sit in a room by myself and didn't seem right. And but I kept at it. And what I actually found is that over the course of the last several years, it has been the one consistent thing that I can do aside from working out that has brought my stress level way down. In fact, in the office, I won't take you here because I got people here today and I don't want them to feel like they're going to be on Facebook or YouTube live, but we actually have a meditation studio here. And so, how I've maintained my stress level throughout this pandemic, but really before that, is we have a meditation studio, which is just your decompression space. I mean, if you're in trouble here, it could be your timeout. Like I'm in timeout a lot with my team. But I call it the meditation studio. We have a comfortable chair in there. We got a little fountain. We got some inspirational books, magazines, anything you want. You don't have to go in there and just be like, you could, and you probably, nobody would look at you funny here doing it, but it's just a place to reset. And what I've found is whether it's 30 seconds or whether it's 30 minutes, just finding a way to slow everything down can make a huge difference to you in terms of your productivity, to your clarity, to your brainstorming, and coming up with your next strategy or idea. There is something super, super powerful about taking that time for yourself, which is, as Dr. Asha would say, self-care. And it doesn't always have to be sitting, Indian leg style or crisscross applesauce, whatever they call it, and being in a Zen state. You can find it doing a walk. You can find it doing your workout. You can find it in taking a bike ride. It doesn't have to necessarily be that. But what I've found is these meditative moments have allowed me to be patient, and the consistency of the practice has made me better. I'm using 2 apps right now that I'll promote, non-sponsored clearly, but if they want to send me some money, hey, feel free to do so. I'm using Oak, OAK, that was actually put out by Kevin Rose. I used the Zero Fasting Intermittent Fasting app. And so that team that put that together, I think, is involved in Oak, but it's a meditation app. So you have some guided meditations you can go through. There's ones that are unguided. I finally have gotten to the point where I can be unguided and I can actually shut my brain down. And so I just focus on my breathing. People do various mechanisms when it comes to meditation, like transcendental meditation, where you're repeating a mantra over and over again. Some software, including different podcasts and different audio files you can have guided meditation. Oak has that as well. Again, that app is on Google and Apple. It's just OAK, and it works, and it's really good. I also use what is the app? It is the Deepak Chopra and Oprah. That was weird. Deepak, Oprah, and Chopra. I don't know. There's a rap there, maybe. I won't bother you with that. Anyway, they have put together an app together, and you can just look for it in the App Store on either one, Google or Apple. But they have guided meditations that they have put together. So there's a little lesson on the front end. Oprah introduces it. Deepak comes in and really shines a light on what it's about, and then suggests a mantra for that particular session. So they do 21-day meditations that you can get, which are really, really good. That has helped me stay consistent because then I can keep track of and monitor my progress through a 21-day program. And you've got health and fitness, you've got quiet the mind, you've got, ones for stress. There's all sorts of options, and best investment I've ever made. Now that's Oak is free. Their app costs you a little bit of money, but it's definitely worth it. But that honestly, Valerie, has been how I have maintained my sanity. And I really wish I had found meditation early on in my entrepreneurial career, because I spent really legitimately the first 15 years of my entrepreneurial life not sleeping, not taking good care of myself physically, never in a million years thinking about how to quiet my mind. And I have one of these minds that races non-freaking stop. So for me to be able to grab a hold of that and say, calm down a bit, let's ease off the throttle. I think it's made me a better person. Certainly it's made me a better parent and spouse. And I think definitely made me a better leader and entrepreneur. So that is definitely one of the things that I would say has helped me manage that stress. So I have another question in here from Chris, who is asking, how do I spend my free time? Well, that's a great question, Chris. I have a number of hobbies that I enjoy. I am a collector. I like to collect comic books and stuff, as you just saw from the tour of the studio. So those things give me pleasure. I also like to spend my time. I'm a coach, soccer coach. So I've been coaching for 27 years as a youth soccer coach. I love it. It's my passion. I am going to be heartbroken here in a few months because our boys are graduating high school, and provided we have the season, this is likely going to be my last hurrah as a soccer coach. And it's been my life, and my number one goal as a soccer coach has always been to have kids enjoy the experience and to appreciate the game and to learn how to fit into a team at the same time as to how to benefit and grow as an individual. And I feel like I've done a really good job at trying to make that the reality of every team I've ever coached. And I know there's a few ladies on here right now that were girls I coached when they were back in middle school and high school that are now in their 30s that are, have their kids coaching. In fact, I see one that says, you're going to coach my kid, so you can't retire. Thank you for that, Sarah. I appreciate that. Maybe I'll come out of retirement to coach that little guy. But that's where I really love to spend my time. And so, Chris, I like to collect. I like to coach soccer. I like to watch soccer. I like to play soccer. I'm an old dude, so I'm like one of the worst players out there. But I still get out there and it gives me my physical energy. I like to take long walks. I like to think and meditate. That's actually I consider a hobby and something I do with my free time. And I like to write. And that's me in a nutshell. That's kind of my my thing that I really appreciate and have a good time doing. Oh, Christina Brewer is also here. Christina, I'm here. Start over. You can see the replay. I'm going to let you watch the replay. Have you ever done hypnotherapy? No, but there is somebody on this call today or on the live stream that has and does that. And she's tried to talk me into doing it. And so I think I will try that. I'd be curious to see what your experience is. And best coach ever. Guys, if you ever want to find somebody that is super awesome to follow on social media, and she does amazing things. She's been in our military. She's done incredible things with her life. But Christina Brewer was one of my former soccer players. Still owes me some laps, I believe. Brewer, you better get on that. But is one of my all-time favorite soccer players. She's just amazing, and she's doing some amazing stuff with her life. She lives now over in Spain and keeps encouraging me to come over there. That was pre-pandemic. I don't think I can get there now. Spain, I think, would reject me automatically, but I appreciate that comment. I don't know if I was the best coach ever, but I sure gave it the best effort that I could. And another one of my soccer players just showed up. Stephanie, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Stephanie and I have worked together in a coaching relationship aside from soccer, which has been fun. She's an amazing young woman, unbelievable soccer player as well, just like Christina. And my best memories of coaching really come from that team and that squad of girls. So it's so awesome. So now all of a sudden, I think Facebook comments are coming in, which I think is really ironic since we're ending the broadcast. And what? Right about now, actually. I just want to say thank you, Stephanie and Christina. You guys just made my day with those. And Asha, thanks for being here. Chris, gosh, everybody that sent in a comment yesterday. If you like this and you want to talk about career, you want to talk about anything to do with business, whatever you see is happening. Thank you, Christina. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. But wherever you are in your life, I would love to be able to utilize this time, these office hours. I'm now committed because I called it office hours. So I guess I have to do another one since we're just doing this one for an hour. We'll do it. We'll do another one. Tina, thank you for being here as well. But if you have questions or you have something that is just, how do I make this Ripple thing work for me? How do I leverage it to get to my next level in my career? Or how do I utilize it to motivate my team or whatever it might be, right? I would love to answer those questions. So I will announce when we do the next Ripple Man's office hours here very soon. But I really appreciate everybody that sent in their questions and made comments. And I'm just really honored and appreciate all of you. Hopefully you found this beneficial, maybe learned a little bit about me. And, if you want to learn more, I feel free to check out my website, ripplecentral.com. I've got a lot of content on there, including a blog. If you aren't currently subscribed to my 2 podcasts, one is the Ripple Effect podcast with yours truly, Steve Harper. So you can find that virtually everywhere. And then the really good podcast, really, really good podcast is Conversations with Asha and Steve. We will be live tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time with that podcast. We're going to get on and record it live and then upload the podcast later in the day. But you will love Dr. Asha Prasad. She is awesome. And we would encourage you to sign up, subscribe for that podcast so you never miss an episode. And let me know what you thought about today. I would love to hear your comments, love to see any feedback that you might have. Hopefully this came across okay. Audio looks good. I can't really tell because I'm on this big monitor and I look like I'm slow. I don't know why. There's some sort of delay. But hopefully I didn't come across that way. So hope everybody has a fantastic day. Do me a favor. Go out. Find somebody to make a difference with at a respectable physical distance. Find somebody in your network, find somebody that you need to reach out to and connect with, and just tell them, hey, I want to check in on you. I want to see how you're doing. Can I help you in any way? Going out, creating that positive ripple, it'll not only benefit them, but man, it will pay back to you in spades. I promise you. As always, my friends, thanks for joining me for the Ripple Man's Office Hours. Take care and ripple on.